Hey everyone, and welcome into another Vinyasa Flow class. I have 2 blocks with me today. These will just be really nice to give you a little bit of support, make everything a little bit more mellow. We're gonna be moving in a very mellow style today, so having just something you can prop your hands up to close that distance will be really nice. And we're actually going to get started with one of our blocks. We're gonna come into a supported bridge pose. So you can do this without a prop. If you don't have props, it's totally not necessary, but if you do have something that you can use as a little bit of a support, then by all means go and get it. And we're gonna get started in a supported bridge pose. So go ahead, lay down onto your back. Feel the feet underneath the knees. Press down into the feet to lift the hips up, and then go ahead and place that block just on its lowest height, right underneath your sacrum. That bony part of the low back. Somewhere where you can really feel the hips being able to drop down really heavy and just be supported in that. You're always welcome to take this up onto the medium height if that feels better to you. Don't go onto the highest height though, keep it nice and chill for the beginning of practice. So either on that lowest height or that medium height will be plenty. And then just allow yourself to drop in here. Find a moment of stillness, not only in your body, but also in your mind. Starting to center the focus onto the breath. That inhale through the nose, and maybe an exhale out the mouth to begin. Some nice clearing breaths here. Inhale, fill up down into the belly. Audible sigh out the mouth. Inhale. Sigh it out. Inhale, fill up. Long exhale, sigh it out. Go ahead and draw your right knee up and in towards your chest. Take the hands to clasp either on the underside of that thigh or onto the shin. You might need to shimmy that space on the sacrum on your block around a little bit. And you're gonna kick your left leg out long if that feels good to you. If it feels too much, then by all means, keep that foot planted. I want you to send that left leg out long if you can, just opening up some space into that left side hip flexor. Drawing that right knee up and in towards your right armpit. I want you to keep drawing that right knee in just so that maybe your left ankle floats ever so slightly. Keep that heel really nice and heavy towards the mat. So just really open up into that front hip flexor. Deep inhales through the nose. Long exhales out the nose. With every inhale, can you really feel like you're pulling in that right leg a little closer? And every exhale, that left ankle gets a little heavier. One more breath, inhale. Exhale. Go ahead, release that right foot, plant it onto the mat, draw both heels up so that you're in that supported bridge pose once again. And on your next inhale, draw that left knee up and in towards the chest. Take the clasp inside of thigh or outside of shin. Draw it in for a moment. And then if you like, you can send that right ankle out nice and long. Getting really heavy in that right heel, opening through that right hip flexor. Keep pulling the left hip down and in as you draw the knee up and in towards your chest. Inhale here. Exhale. And draw that left knee up a little closer, perhaps so much that the right ankle starts to float. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, can you really let that right heel be heavy? It might not touch the mat, but if it does, great. Be where you are. Deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. One more deep inhale, draw that left knee up and in towards the chest. Exhale, drop that right heel towards the mat. One more inhale here. And as you exhale, release that left knee, plant the soles of the feet back down onto the earth. Press down through the feet, lift the hips up. Keep engaging through the glutes, and then just remove that prop out from underneath you, lower the hips down. Plant the feet once again, perhaps where your fingertips can tickle the Achilles. Place your hands down. Your palms can face down or they can actually face towards one another, fingers point up towards the ceiling. I just want you to have some activation into the triceps. So you're really kind of pushing down with the elbows and the triceps here. Press down through the feet, inhale, bridge the hips up. Find space across the front body and engagement through the back. So you're really drawing the heels up in towards you. Hamstrings are active, glutes are active, glutes pressing up towards the sky. Can you knit your hips and your ribs together so you're staying really active into your core? Exhale, lower the hips down. Inhale, bridge the hips up. Take a moment to pause to activate. And then exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Pressing down through the triceps, wrapping the shoulder blades underneath you. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Draw the knees into the chest. Lower back stays really nice and grounded onto the mat as you just hug the knees in, rolling across the spine, giving yourself a little massage there. And then take the hands to the underneath of the thighs as you start to rock and roll up and down the length of your spine. You're starting to build up some momentum, perhaps feel that nice little massage of your back muscles along the mat. And eventually you're going to roll yourself up to a seat. I'm going to come into a bear sit, so take the feet out nice and wide. You can take the hands up behind you to just get length through the spine. And you can keep the hands here by all means if you feel like you want that support to really help pull your chest and heart through, help spill your pelvis forward. Or if you like, you can take the hands to the ankles. Elbows are kind of onto the inside of the thighs. Hands wrap around the ankles as you pull your chest and heart. Get long through the spine here. Deep breaths. Inhale, pull the chest and heart through. Exhale, solidify. Hands can come to your heart center or behind you. Take an inhale here to get long through the spine. As you exhale, drop the knees over towards the left. Feel that internal rotation of the right leg, the external rotation of the left. Inhale, pulls you back up to center. Exhale, drop the knees over towards the right. Internal rotation of that left leg, external rotation of the right. Feel into it. And then inhale, pulls you out. Exhale, send it over to the left. So just windshield wipering the legs here. Inhale, center. Exhale, over to the right. Inhale, center. If you like, you can bring your hands to heart center. Try do it without the hands supporting you. Drop the knees over to the left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, shift the knees over towards the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, shift the knees over towards the left and pause. Take a fold over that legs. Maybe you take the fingertips out in front of you. Maybe you pulse the chest for a count of 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause at your lowest depth. Maybe you take the forearms down to the ground here. Can you keep pulling the chest forward, spilling the belly button over that left shin? Inhale lifts you back up. Come back to center. Bear sit. Exhale, knock the knees over towards the right. Shift the weight forward, come into that little folded position. Then take the fingertips out in front of you, and we're pulsing here for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fold your deepest. Perhaps the forearms come onto the ground. Keep pulling the chest and heart forward so you're staying long through the spine, really getting into that right outer hip. Hands plant, inhale, rise, return back to center. Bring the hands to heart center if you can. Exhale, shift the legs over towards the left, windshield wiper the legs. Without your hands, fold over that front leg. Really active into that front shin, that left shin. Left shin is pressing down into the mat as you're folding over. Inhale lifts you up. Come back to center. Exhale, drop the knees over towards the right. Inhale, take a fold. Stay active in that front leg. So we're not folding all the way down, we're staying up a little bit, we're just folding over, finding that space and that strength into that front hip. Inhale lifts you up. Come back to center. Exhale, legs shift over to the left, fold halfway. Inhale, rise, back to center. Exhale, knees drop over to the right, fold down halfway. Inhale, rise, back to center. One more time each way. Exhale, knees shift left, fold over. Inhale, rise up. Come back to center. Exhale, shift over towards the right, fold down halfway. Stay active. Inhale, rise up. Come back to center. You might find yourself slowly starting to creep your way forward, so just shimmy yourself back onto the mat. We're going to cross the ankles and come into a tabletop position. And just find some action into the hands here. First time putting some weight onto the wrists, so just warm up into them, maybe taking 2 clockwise circles, 2 anti-clockwise circles. You can paw the mat, shift the fingertips out towards the outer edges, maybe even flip them back behind you, whatever you need to do to kind of find some awareness into the wrists. Find that activation into the shoulders of the hands, pressing down into the mat. And just let's take a couple of cat-cows. Inhale, lift the chin, lift the heart, drop the belly. Exhale, round everything in, curl. Chin to chest, spine and shoulder blades really push up towards the ceiling. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. And exhale, round. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, find that neutral spine. Tuck the toes underneath you. Lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Again, take a moment here just to get into your downward facing dog, pedaling out through the feet. Feel that press down through the hands. Just finding a little bit of gentle movement, some awakening into your body, into the side body. Kind of noticing how you feel today. I feel like down dog is one of those first initial positions that we enter into that we can really get a sense of what the whole body is doing. So just take a moment to really feel into it. Notice how your shoulders feel, how your hips feel, your hamstrings. And then go ahead and tiptoe your way to the front of the mat. Take the feet to the outside of the hands and sink the hips down nice and low, coming into a little Malasana squat, passive squat. You're going to take the fingertips just out somewhere in front of you. You can use the elbows to kind of peel your knees further apart. Take an inhale here to get really broad across the collarbones and the chest. And then exhale, you can fold over the legs, perhaps pivot the toes in slightly. Inhale, toes pivot out as you sink the hips down back into your Malasana squat. Get long through the spine, broad across the chest here. Upper body stays exactly the same. As you exhale, you just simply hinge from the hips, lift the hips up nice and high, pivot the toes in, forward fold. Inhale, sink the hips down, keep that length through the spine, that broadness across the chest. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, Malasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Malasana. Get tall, get long, get broad. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sink the hips down. Malasana squat. Exhale, fold over the legs. Stay in this forward fold here. Heel toe the feet in slightly so they're about hips width distance apart. Just take a little ragdoll, maybe interlacing, maybe grabbing opposite elbow with opposite hand and just swaying. Release the arms, deep bend into the knees as you roll up the spine, coming up to stand. Head comes up last as you arrive there. Inhale, arms reach up overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Maybe interlace the fingers, allow the index fingers to point up towards the sky. Draw the biceps behind the ears, press the hips forward, engaging through the glutes, opening through the front body. Exhale, cactus, the arms open. Hands come down to heart center. Inhale, arms reach up and overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold over, spill over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift, look forward. Exhale, plant the hands, step the feet back, high plank. Exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And then exhale, send it back, downward facing dog. This might be a nice moment to grab your blocks if you have them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have them placed under my hands, just on their lowest height here. And they're essentially just gonna stay with me throughout this journey in this way. So tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. If you have those blocks underneath your hands, great. If you don't need them, don't want them, that is also fine too. Inhale, right toes are going to reach up and back behind you, three-legged dog. Exhale, draw that right knee over towards your left tricep, give it a tap, and then set it down next to the left thumb. So you're kind of on not on train tracks, you're kind of in one line here. You're going to inhale, pull the chest and heart through, runner's lunge, and then exhale, straighten both the legs, pyramid pose. Inhale, rebend into that front knee. Get established into the feet as you inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. Notice how this feels, having that little bit of a narrower stance. Both of your feet are in one line here, so just recognize how that feels. Perhaps your balance is a little bit unsteady, that's fine. Keep dropping the tailbone down, sinking the hips nice and low. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Inhale. And then exhale, hands come down onto those blocks again. I'm going to shift them into the tallest height and step that left foot forward, crossing it behind the right. So your pinky toes are now next to each other. So you've got this little cross foot motion. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold down. Bring the hands to prayer, elbows and forearms connected. Inhale, rise up to stand. Lift the forearms up towards the sky as you open, Hastasana. And then exhale, fold everything back down. Inhale, halfway lift, hands can be on those blocks. Exhale, step that left foot back. Lower down the back knee, Anjaneyasana. Those blocks can be right down by your side. Again, those feet should be in that one line, so you're in a little bit of a narrower stance than you usually are in this Anjaneyasana. Feel into it, see how it feels. Your hands can be on blocks. Always welcome to inhale the arms up and over the head. Always welcome to take a little side body stretch here. So if that block is down next to you, right hand can plant down onto it as you lift up and over, spilling over towards the right, getting into that left side body. So you look underneath that left armpit. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, straighten through the front legs, sink the hips back, half splits. Again, those blocks are really nice to have here because you can really make them a part of your journey. Keep that hinge coming from the hips. Keep that length through the spine. pulling the chest and heart forward here. Inhale, rebend into that front leg. Bring the blocks with you. Lift the back knee back into that runner's lunge. Exhale, plant the hands on the blocks, on the mat. Step that right foot back and then lower down through your chaturanga. Inhale, pulls you up and over the toes. Upward facing dog. And then exhale, sends it back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, left toes reach up and back behind you, three-legged dog. Exhale, draw it across body, give that right tricep a little tap, and then set that left foot down next to that right thumb. Inhale, come up onto fingertips if you like, pull the chest and heart through, runner's lunge. Exhale, straighten the front leg, extended pyramid pose, fold over. Keep plugging that left hip back and in line, shooting that right hip forward, coming high up onto that back toe. Inhale, rebend into that front knee. Really get your footing here as you inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. Notice the narrower stance, the shift in balance. And you keep everything the same here as we would be in our crescent lunge. Your feet are just a little bit closer together. So keep hugging that left hip back and in line, shooting that right hip forward, dropping the tailbone down, pulling up through the navel, arms reach up and overhead. Inhale here, get tall. Exhale, sink. One more inhale. Exhale, hands come down onto those blocks. And we're stepping the right foot up and behind the left, coming into that little cross-legged forward fold. Take an inhale, halfway lift, look forward. And then exhale, fold down. Hands come to prayer. Elbows and forearms connect. Inhale, rise up, Tadasana. Lift the forearms up towards the sky, press the hips forward. Exhale, fold over the legs. Hands on blocks, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step the right toes back, keeping them in line with the left. Lower down the back knee, Anjaneyasana. Hands on blocks, hands reach up and overhead. And remember that side body stretch is there for you as well. Perhaps taking that left hand onto a block down by your left hip and reaching that right hand up and over the air, really spilling over. Gaze can come up and under that armpit. Next inhale brings you back up to center. Blocks can come with you as you exhale, sink the hips back. Left leg straightens, half split. Take an inhale, halfway lift, look forward, get long through the spine, and then exhale, hinge from the hip. So that action is always stemming from the hip. Our spine stays long, our left hip keeps plugging back into that socket, and then you're spilling over the left leg. Next, inhale, rebend into that front leg. Lift the back knee as you come into that little runner's lunge once again. Chest and heart pulls through. And then as you exhale, plant the hands onto those blocks, onto your mat. Step the left toes back to high plank pose. Exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, up and over, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, send it back, Adho Mukha. Inhale, right toes reach up and back behind you. Exhale, draw it across body, set it down next to the left thumb. Inhale, chest and heart pulls through, runner's lunge, lower the hips. Exhale, straighten both the legs, pyramid pose. Inhale, rebend into the front leg, rise up, crescent lunge. Inhale, get long, and then exhale, sink the hips down. One more inhale here. And then exhale, hands plant, step the left toes back behind the right. Pinkies are touching. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold down. Hands to prayer, forearms to touch. Inhale, rise up. Lift the elbows up towards the sky, and then exhale, pull everything back down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, look forward. Exhale, step the left toes to the back of the mat, lower down the back knee. Inhale, rise up, Anjaneyasana. Take an inhale to get tall, and then exhale, sink the hips down deep. Perhaps taking that interlace opposite hand, clasps opposite elbow, and then inhale, pull yourself up, get nice and tall, and then exhale, spill over towards the right. Little side body stretch here. Plugging that right hip back and in line, shooting that left hip forward, even though the feet are more narrow here. Inhale, come back to center, and then exhale, straighten the legs, half splits. Blocks can come with you if you are using them. Inhale, come up halfway, halfway lift. Exhale, fold over the leg. Inhale, halfway lift, look forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rebend into that front leg. Blocks come with you. Come up onto fingertips, and then exhale, lift the back knee, runner's lunge. Plant the hands, step the right toes back, vinyasa. Exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, up and over, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, back, Adho Mukha. Inhale, left toes reach up and back behind you. Exhale, bring it across body. Set it down next to the right thumb. Inhale, chest and heart pulls through, runner's lunge. Sink the hips down. Exhale, straighten through the front leg, pyramid pose. Inhale, rebend into the front leg, rise up, crescent lunge. Inhale to get tall. Exhale to sink in. One more inhale. Exhale, hands plant, step the right toes behind the left, pinkies to meet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold down. Hands to prayer, forearms forearms connect. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold over. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, right toes reach to the back of the mat, lower down the back knee. Anjaneyasana. Inhale, grab opposite elbow, opposite hand. Inhale, pulls you up to get tall, and then exhale, spills you over towards the left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, straighten through that front leg, half splits. Inhale, halfway lift, get long through the spine. Exhale, fold over that front leg. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, rebend into that front leg. Plant the hands onto the blocks. Lift the back knee, runner's lunge. Plant the hands, exhale, step the left toes back. Take an inhale, and then exhale, lower down through your vinyasa. Inhaling up to upward facing dog, and then exhale, sends it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts up. Exhale, step it to the left thumb. Inhale, chest and heart pulls through. Exhale, straighten the leg, pyramid pose. Inhale, rebend, rise, crescent. Exhale, hands come down, step the left toes behind the right. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Hands to prayer, forearms to touch. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step the left toes back, lower down the back knee. Anjaneyasana, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, sink the hips back, straighten the front leg, fold over, half splits. Inhale, rebend into the front leg. Plant the hands, lift the back knee, runner's lunge. Exhale, step the foot back, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left toes reach up and back behind you. Exhale, draw it across body, step it down to the right thumb. Inhale, chest and heart pulls through. Exhale, straighten both the legs, pyramid pose. Inhale, rebend, rise, crescent lunge. Exhale, hands plant, step the right toes back. Pinky toes meet, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands to prayer. Inhale, rise up. Forearms are touching. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step the right toes back, lower down the back knee. Rise, arms reach up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, sink the hips back, straighten the front leg, half splits. Inhale, rebend that front leg. Plant the hands, lift the back knee. Exhale, step the left toes back, lower down through your chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Couple of deep breaths here in your downward facing dog. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, sigh out the mouth. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, side out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, right toes reach up and back behind you. Exhale, step the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Lower down the back knee. Inhale, twist. Right hand reaches up towards the sky. Exhale, reach behind you. Maybe that left foot comes in and you grab the outer pinky side edge of that left foot. Twisted lizard lunge. You can draw that left heel in towards you, or you can always kick into the hands and splay out. If the forearm drops for you in your practice, feel free to go there. Find some deep breaths here in your twisted lizard lunge. Open up space. Keep peeling that right shoulder blade down the back. Keep sinking the hips forward and down. Allow this to be a real release here. Find space. Drop in. Deep inhale here. And as you exhale, release the back knee. I'm going to tuck the back toes, really spike that back toe into the ground, and you're going to use it to shimmy yourself back into a skandasana back of the mat. Left knee is tracking over the left toes. Make sure the left knee and the left toes are always kind of moving in the same direction. You can stay upright here using those blocks underneath your hands. You can even kind of ground down into that outer foot to kind of get a more active skandasana as you sink the hips down. Maybe even taking the hands to heart center. Or you're also welcome to sink into the hips and really lower down into it if you have the space. Find your skandasana. If your hips are quite low to the ground here in your skandasana, maybe you try setting the hips down, lowering onto your sit bones. If you go down though, come back up. You're kind of lifting up and out of it here, just creating a little bit more space into the hips if you are already quite low into your skandasana. Keep nice and long through the spine, proud through the collarbones. Take one more inhale here. And then exhale, you're going to shift it over towards the right skandasana, right side. Same thing goes here if you liked that more active, lifted version with the hands on the blocks, the sole of the left foot planted, sinking the hips down here, by all means go for it. If you have the mobility to do so, to sink the hips all the way down, to have your hands in heart center, go for it. If you want to try, if you have that space, you want to try lowering down to sit and then raising back up again. You can try moving through there. Nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Your next inhale, you're going to turn to face the front of the mat, to face that front leg once again. Exhale, lower down the back knee, sink back into your half splits. Another good option for the blocks to come down underneath you, so they might actually be of use here. Take an inhale, halfway lift, look forward, and then exhale, fold over. Find a little bit more room here in your half splits. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold over. And then, if you want, you can stay here in your half splits, or you can start kicking that right foot forward, moving towards your full Hanumanasana, your full splits. Those blocks can be really nice here, as they can kind of help support you on your way down, give you a little something to kind of press the hands into. I always kind of like it, even though I can sit down all the way, I kind of like it as it really allows me to kind of get specific into where my hips are. Helps me feel that action of that right hip pulling back and that left hip shooting forward, and gives me just a little bit of extra room to really get specific with those alignment cues. And then once you've sunk down into your full depth, breathe there. Deep inhales and exhales through the nose. Perhaps maybe even see if you can make your exhales longer than your inhales. So even though we're in a position of work here where your body is probably thinking, what's going on? Your breath and your mind is saying, it's okay. We're chill, it's cool. One more deep inhale. Long and slow exhale. And then using your hands, using those blocks, press down into it and draw that right foot back in line. Plant the hands, tuck the back toes, send the right toes back, and then exhale, lower down through your chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left toes reach up and back. Exhale, step it to the outside of the left hand, lower down the back knee. Inhale, left hand reaches, twist. And as you exhale, maybe you reach behind, grabbing for that back right foot. Catching the pinky side edge, either drawing that heel in towards your glute or pressing it away. Whichever variation you take, sink the hips down, peel that left shoulder down onto the back body. If that right forearm naturally wants to come down, then let it. Let this feel like a coming back to center, a returning, a moment to release. Keep that breath nice and long and deep. One more inhale. And then exhale. Release that back foot. Keep the toe tucked underneath you. Spike into it so that you can pivot around, ground down through that back heel and sink back into your skandasana, back of the mat. Bending down into that right leg. If you want that more active variation, go for it. You might actually find that you've got a lot more space here to sink down. So if now on this side you want to sink into a more passive Skandasana, then by all means go for it. Don't be locked into finding perfect symmetry. If you want to play with sitting the hips down and lifting the hips back up, go for that. Be a really nice way just to find a little bit more space. Spike into that left heel. Next inhale is going to pull you. See if you can stay really low into the hips as you shift over towards Skandasana, left side. Find your position. Find your dynamic movements. If you feel like being dynamic by sinking the hips down and then lifting them up, or find a moment of static here. Sometimes we crave different things. Sometimes we want that dynamic movement, the pulses. Sometimes it feels really nice just to find stillness. You discern what you want and what you need here. Then use that information to deliver. Next inhale, turn towards that left foot, front of the mat. Exhale, lower down the back knee. Take your blocks with you as you sink back, half split. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Stay here or start kicking through that left heel, sending the left foot forward, right foot back, coming into your version, your variation of full Hanumanasana, your full splits. And remember, straight is relative to you and your body. So we will be just navigating at the space that we have, whether you're more upright or you're more sunken down. Just tap into what feels good for you. And know that it changes side to side, day to day, moment to moment, breath to breath. Use those blocks for support if you need them. Find activation if you need it. See if you can extend your exhalations, perhaps inhaling for a count of 4 and exhaling for a count of 6. Telling your body, everything's fine. This is fine. I just had that thought of that meme of the dog in the house on fire, and he's like, this is fine. One more deep breath in. Sigh it out. Use those blocks or the hands, draw that left foot back. Rebend into the front leg. Plant the hands, tuck the back toes, send that left foot back. Exhale, rinse it through your final vinyasa. Half pigeon pose. Inhale, right toes reach up and back behind you. Exhale, right knee comes to right tricep, right ankle comes to left wrist, and then you sink down into your half pigeon. Remember that right ankle can be anywhere from closer towards your hips to all the way out at 90 degrees, but take it easy, please. We do not want any hip injuries, so tap into your body. Discern your line of tension. Stay upright for a moment, find your spot, and then exhale, you can fold down. I actually really like in this pose having a block on the highest height right under my third eye and just dropping down this way. And then slowly as my body starts to open, I lower down the block's height and I come further down until maybe some days I stay on the block or some days I fold right over. Three deep breaths. Walk yourself back upright. Plant the hands, tuck the back toes, step it back, downward facing dog. Any moments of transition that you need, find your little transitional movements, maybe even taking some circles of that knee and hip before we move on to the other side, lifting the left toes up and back. And then exhale, drawing that left knee to left tricep, left ankle to right wrist, and then setting yourself down, half pigeon pose. Find a moment upright first to get settled. Know that your hips will be very different side to side, so accommodate for that. If you like that prop under your forehead, go for it. Drop down now. Three deep breaths here. Next inhale, walk yourself back up to a seat. And then actually just shift over that left hip, bring the legs out in front of you. You can face the long side edge of your mat, take the legs out nice and wide. We're going to come down into a wide straddle. So first things first, get your setup, get your length in your spine. You might even have the hands behind you for most of it, and just simply keep the hands behind you as you keep the length into your spine and lean your heart and chest forward. And you can stay here. This is a really great place to start. I actually kind of like to hang out here simply because I know that I round through my low back quite a lot, and it's a really nice place for me to kind of press down through my fingers to really lean my chest and heart forward and get that length through my low back. If you know that you have some space, you can walk the hands out in front of you, come down onto forearms. Again, that block can be really nice to just rest under the forehead, under that third eye. Or if you have the space to really drop down, reach the hands forward, come into your stretch. Three more deep breaths. Next inhale, you can walk yourself upright. Remove those props. Go ahead, bring your legs out in front of you and roll down onto your back. Draw the knees into the chest, give them a nice tight squeeze. Any twist of your choice. I'm actually going to take a Hanumanasana leg twist where I'm going to cross my right knee on top of my left knee so that the knees are stacked. And it's kind of like you're going to eagle legs, but they're not like crossed at the ankles. And I'm just going to shift my knees over towards the left. Shimmy my hips over, cactus my arm. Again, your arms can be T or they can be cactuses. You can take any other twist. Just really find a twist that works for you and your body, that feels good to you today. It allows you this final moment of wringing out your practice. A final moment to neutralize the spine. Gaze can come over towards the right. Next inhale draws the knees back up to center. Switch the cross of the legs or switch your side. I'm going to shimmy my hips over towards the left slightly and then let the knees knock over towards the right. I'm going to cactus my arms, but if you want to take them out to a T, by all means do so. Ground down through your shoulders. Let the knees be heavy. Gaze over towards the left. Your next inhale can draw yourself back up, uncross the legs, draw the knees up and in towards the chest. If you want to take a happy baby here, go for it, grabbing the outer edges of the feet. Sacrum stays grounded, elbows kind of help to pry the knees apart, then you draw the knees down to each side of your mat, to either side of you. You can straighten through the legs if you want a little supine straddle. Draw the knees back in towards the chest. Give them a really nice tight squeeze, perhaps even lifting your chin up, making a really nice tight little ball. Take an inhale, fill up. Sip in a little bit more air. A little bit more. A little bit more. Hold. And on your exhale, release everything down to the mat. Take up space, move into your Savasana. Try not to kick any blocks off your balcony. And allow yourself to drop and melt into the earth. Giving yourself a moment of gratitude. Showing up and practicing. Creating some space, not just in your body, in your mind and in your spirit, in your life. Allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm. Allow each and every muscle to really relax and drop down, knowing that you gave of yourself throughout this practice. And so in this moment, can you give back to your body by allowing it some space to rest, to recover, to find ease. To take this final moment to solidify the entire practice. Allow your mind to rest on that steady, easy flow of the breath. Please take this Savasana for as long as it serves you, for as long as you can. As always, it is such an honor to flow with you here through the magic of the interwebs. I really appreciate you taking some time to move with me. Sending you so much love and peace and gratitude. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Peace.